Science, which combines the sciences of physics, chemistry and biology under one roof, is the science that allows research and experiments in many fields. In this sense, units are used to calculate some elements of science. One of these units is a unit called amplitude. So, what does this expression of amplitude describe? What expressions are used to describe the name amplitude? How is the amplitude calculated? Here are all the details about the amplitude. Amplitude is the expression describing the maximum level of movements that occur periodically. In other words, it is a name given to half of the distance between the top decks and the bottom pit seen by a wave. What is amplitude? Amplitude is half of the wave distances used to explain some elements in science. These waves can be both light waves and radio waves. Half of the ceiling and base seen by these waves are called amplitude. What does the amplitude depend on? Half of the distance between the vertical distance of the waves is called the amplitude december. This concept is a term used in the calculation of the vertical distance of waves such as electricity, light and radio. So the amplitude expression depends on the distance of the waves. Amplitude. Let's use some simplified examples to examine the concept of amplitude. In other words, it can measure the pressure of a point in your hand at a given time. Let's put the device in the sound part of the flute and ask someone to play the note. You see that the values on the device constantly change in proportion to the internal pressure of the flute. If there is no sound in the room, the pressure value measured when the flute is blown rapidly is called peak amplitude. Its unit in general is Pascal, Pa. The highest sound you can hear is 20 Pascal, and the lowest is 20 micropascal, 20 pascals. If we look at the word meaning, amplitude means width. The maximum level in a periodic movement is called amplitude. I want you to bring a wave before your eyes. From the top of this wave, we can take the distance to the x-axis as an amplitude. Amplitude. Half of the distance between a wave crest and a wave deceleration is called dot. As the amplitude of sound waves increases, the energy and intensity of sound increases. A sound formed by sound waves with an excess amplitude is called a violent sound. As the amplitude of sound waves decreases, the energy and intensity of sound decreases. A sound formed by sound waves with a low amplitude is called a weak sound. Half of the distance between a wave crest and a wave deceleration is called dot. As the amplitude of sound waves increases, the energy and intensity of sound increases. A sound formed by sound waves with an excess amplitude is called a violent sound. As the amplitude of sound waves decreases, the energy and intensity of sound decreases. A sound formed by sound waves with a low amplitude is called a weak sound.